Hey everyone, it's Pat with Seattle Coffee Gear, and today's video is going to be for anyone who wants to buy their first espresso machine and might not quite know where to start. So we're going to take a look at a couple different kinds of espresso machines and help you figure out what is going to be the right one for you. So if you want an espresso machine, you may have started doing a little bit of research. Even if you haven't, then this is a perfect video for you. First kind of machine we're going to talk about is a semi-automatic espresso machine, which is going to be the kind of more traditional espresso machine. It's going to kind of be in line with the sort of machine you might see at your local cafe. It's going to use things like a portafilter here, and it's going to have a pump inside with a boiler, and the boiler is going to heat water, and then the pump is going to push it through the portafilter here and into your cup. With these machines, you're going to need a standalone grinder to work with them, and you're going to have to learn some technique. So I've got two semi-automatic espresso machines here to kind of illustrate a few differences between the two. This machine, the Solus Barista Perfetta, is maybe the kind of machine you would start with if you are looking to get in for a little bit lower cost and something that's going to be a little bit easier to learn on, more forgiving, and it's also going to have what are called pressurized portafilter baskets that work with it, and those are going to help you account a little bit for inconsistencies in some of your grinding and actually open up more grinders for you to be able to use with it. And that's because you need a very fine grind for espresso, and those pressurized portafilter baskets can help create some extra back pressure because they're dual walled at the bottom to kind of help a little bit coarser grind work for espresso. So this is going to be a good machine, and machines kind of like it, for anybody who wants to take those first steps but maybe isn't familiar with espresso or maybe doesn't want a higher learning curve. There are also machines that you can get like the Barista Express from Breville that have a grinder built in. Those are going to work pretty much the same fundamentally. They're just going to have that grinder attached. And there's pros and cons for both of those things. We've done lots of content on our blog and here on the YouTube channel about like all-in-ones versus standalone machines. So you can just take a look through the channel and you'll find a bunch of resources about that. So here in the middle, I have the Diletta Mio. So this is going to be a little bit more expensive machine. It's also going to be a little bit more powerful in terms of things like recovery time. The steam power is going to be a little bit better on it, and you're going to have a little more fine control because it has things like adjustable pressure valves and the like. That's pretty advanced stuff if you're just coming to this video to determine what kind of machine you want. But the reason that this might be interesting to you is that this is going to be a machine that you can learn on if you're willing to kind of jump in with something a little bit more advanced. And it's probably also going to give you really, really strong performance for a longer time. You might outgrow a machine like this if you decide you get really into it, and then several months later, maybe you're looking for more power, looking for something that can make drinks a little bit faster, or maybe looking for better steam power to like have easier access to latte art and stuff like that. A lot of those things are stuff that these machines can do, but you're definitely pushing them to their limit. Whereas something like the Diletta Mio is going to give you a little more longevity over time. I would say a machine like this, this will last you years and years and years. Potentially, it might be the only machine you ever even want because it's a really great, powerful machine. Whereas something like this is a really good value that's going to get you started. And for some users, they may never look for something more. But we think that for users that really take to home espresso, they might end up wanting to upgrade to something like this within a year or two at the most. So those are our semi-automatic espresso machines. These are just a couple, like I said, there's so many out there. You've probably heard names like La Marzocco or Rocket Espresso. Those are going to also be in this category, but they're going to tend to be higher end, more expensive, and in turn more powerful. With these kinds of machines, with espresso machines and really coffee equipment in general, most of the time if you're purchasing something that's a reputable brand, especially something that you find on our site, the value is probably going to be pretty comparable between the different machines. The price points really just kind of get you more power, more reliability, higher quality components. So you really are going to be getting what you pay for pretty much wherever you go in the pricing scale. And that's something to think about when you're shopping for your first machine. Another thing that you might want to consider if you're looking for espresso machines is the super automatic espresso machine. So for a lot of people that are moving to want to buy a home espresso machine, you might already have a machine that uses like pre-portioned cups of coffee and it'll just poke the holes in it and run water through it, and you're thinking you want something a little bit better quality than that. And a super automatic espresso machine is likely going to fit that bill for you if you still want that automatic kind of experience. So these kinds of machines, I've got the Philips Carina here with the Latte Go steaming system, but these kind of machines are all generally going to contain a grinder at the top that you're going to be able to put whole bean coffee in. Most of them will also have a pass-through grinder that you can put ground coffee in if you like as well. And then they're going to have an interface where you'll select your drink, and then it will run beans through a grinder that's inside the unit, and then automatically do all of the tamping and brewing parts that these machines have you do kind of manually. So you basically just push the button and it'll run, and then it'll extract your coffee. Many of these machines, I would say most of them, are going to have some way to steam milk. A lot of them might have a more traditional steam wand. A lot of them will have a steam wand that's a little easier to use than what you might see on something like this. Some of them will also have many steam systems like this Carina Latte Go that are going to be a little more automatic. So with this one, you can push a latte button. As long as you have milk in the carafe, it'll run it through its steam system and pour your milk for you. So you can get full like one-touch lattes with a lot of these machines, and sort of a full range of cafe drinks at the press of a button with many of them. The downside to these machines can be that, one, they have a lot of moving parts that you kind of need to maintain and clean, and sometimes that can be a bit of a pain for people. They're generally really good at helping you maintain them with warning lights and stuff like that, but if you don't follow those instructions, then your machine can over time develop issues. They're also not great for using very oily beans, so super dark roasts, because if you run those through the grinder, over time the oil buildup in the grinder can be problematic for it. And since it's not easy to just take it apart and clean, it can cause the machine to fail over the longer term if you use lots of oily beans in them. So those things can be deal breakers for some people. You're also not going to get the same fine level of control with this machine that you would get with either of these two machines, and especially with a machine like the Mio. With the Mio, there's a lot you can do between adjusting your grinder, adjusting the pressure valves, adjusting your shot times, etc., to really tease out specific flavors from different coffees. Whereas with a super automatic machine, depending on the machine, there's different parameters that you can adjust, but generally the process is going to be handled automatically by the machine. So you're not going to be able to make as many adjustments as you would be able to make with these other machines. My advice for you, ultimately, if you are purchasing a machine, is to take a look at the process that you see at your local cafe. See if that's something that you're interested in learning. For a lot of people, it's kind of like cooking. It is for me personally, where the act of making the coffee is really fun. If you think that's you, then one of these machines is probably going to be the way to go. If you think that maybe you want something more automatic, a super automatic is probably the way to go. When it comes to choosing individual machines, I would say peruse our channel for a lot of the information on semi-automatics, because we have a ton of different videos about most of the machines that you can get on our site. The same is true for super autos, but the biggest thing with super autos is making sure that you like what the coffee tastes like. Do you have any kind of access to like one of our retail stores or someplace where you can try the coffee from one of these machines? That's going to be huge for helping you determine which super automatic is the right fit for you. So if you are someone who uses a pod-based machine or a capsule-based machine at home, you might be wondering what kind of flavor difference you can expect from different kinds of coffee makers. And I would tell you that generally you're going to see just an enormous increase in quality when you step up to something that uses whole beans for brewing. Grinding fresh is like a core component of what makes your coffee taste better. And pod machines basically can't really hold a candle to the espresso that you're going to be able to get out of these machines. The difference is going to be that these semi-automatic machines are going to require a little bit more practice and learning to get the best tasting coffee. So when you first use it, you might find, oh, that this is bitter, oh, this is sour. You can search those things on a wide, again, more stuff that we have on our channel, a wide range of places to learn more about how to dial that flavor in. Whereas with a super automatic machine, you're going to get pretty good baseline coffee right off the bat. It's just how much you want to be able to tweak the flavor to your liking. And that's going to determine whether it's worth it to you to get the learning curve of these machines or to stick with something like this that's going to do most of that process for you. But in any case, with all of the above, you're going to see a huge upgrade in flavor and quality from if you're using a pod machine now. And also, if you have any additional questions and want more personalized sales assistance with this stuff, we do ship nationwide, and we have people that are standing by on phones and chat and stuff to help you make an informed decision about which machine is going to be right for you. And they're all people that have used these machines, understand these machines, and are going to be able to help you make the right choice. Hope that this video has been helpful for you. If you did like it, like I said a few times, I can't stress enough, take a look through the channel. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it to let us know that you're enjoying this content. Get subscribed for more videos as they come out so you can learn about new machines that might come out during your search, and feel free to drop a comment below. Thanks so much for watching.
Yes.